So long as the fruit of our labor is denied us, so long will want manifest itself in a world of slaves. See, we're back to slavery. When we have enough to eat, then we are healthy enough to enjoy what we eat. Then we have the time and ability to read and think and discuss things. We are the men and women reading books, searching in the pages of history for the lost world, the key to the mystery of living peace, imperishable joy. We are the factory hands, the field hands, the mill hands everywhere, molding, creating, building structures, forging ahead. We are the living dream of dead men everywhere, the unquenchable truth that class memories create to stagger the infamous world with prophecies of unlimited happiness. We are the living and the dead men everywhere. If you want to know what we are marching. This is the explanation of Freedom from Want in 1943 by Carlos Bulosan. The immigrant worker, the agricultural worker, the despised worker. He recognizes in the same essay the forces which have been trying to falsify American history. So I was trying to see what his life was like in the Philippines before he came as a proletarian to work in the factories in the field. What was his relationship to commoning in the Philippines? I've started that investigation. Yeah, he learned how to cut bamboo, stuff it with shrimps, wrap it in banana leaves, stick it in the fire. Delicious. He learned how to do that out in the commons, without going to the mall, without going to the store. Back to Edward Thompson. Edward never talked about Magna Carta. He was sarcastic once about it. He said, let's imagine Christopher Hill, or he was, I better get the quote here. Ancient traditions may still, with careful management, be turned in for cash. Yeah. And why should not a few historians also be listed among the nation's assets? Yes, let Mr. Christopher Hill be seated behind a little glass alcove with an old black letter folio of Magna Carta. Let's have Morris dancing on the lawn. See, his sarcasm could be lacerating, could get us all laughing. And that's where he referred to Magna Carta. But I think our task is to bring these subjects together, the Constitution and the Commons. And when Edward, in a more serious vein, against the secrecy state in 1978, talking against those people spying upon him, talking about those who are subverting the jury, talking about the subversion of habeas corpus, then he reflects more seriously on the Constitution and says that a Constitution is based in the culture of the people, but the culture of the people is changing, and we analyze that culture in terms of class relations. I think we need breakthroughs. 2008. Now, this is my conclusion. We need some breakthroughs. We have the robber barons. It's not so much Frick that I've been thinking of, as it's Cheney, as it's Bush, as it's the corporate mongers whose name I don't know, who are hoarding to themselves the hydrocarbon energy resources of our planet and using that monopoly It's not bad King John and his attack on Sherwood Forest, but it's the attack on Central Asia through the balance of power, through the client states, through the petroleum states. This is where our destiny is. Tom Paine in 1776 called in Common Sense for an American Magna Carta. And the Declaration of Independence was the result. But it was a Magna Carta without its little sister. It was a Magna Carta without the Charter of the Forest. The Magna Carta has provisions in 61 for those who violate it, as habeas corpus, trial by jury, due process of law, prohibition of torture have been violated. King John had to lose all his possessions, all his lands, all his castles. Only his person and family would not be harmed. Are we ready to do that? The other theme I want you to remember, besides the commons, the four freedoms, is the theme of reparations. Magna Carta said that bad King John had to return to the commoners not only the forests that he had taken, but those that his brother had taken, and those that his father had taken, and those that Henry I, his grandfather, had taken. So the reparations go back. Bad King John must pay. He must pay back what he's taken. And I wonder, are we ready for that? These were the thoughts that came to me in the pressure cooker after 2001, as I tried to battle that deliberate idealization of historical ignorance. And in taking you to 1940, I wanted to bring you to a crisis time when thinking could be our fighting. And I did this not so you could watch Atonement. I did it because I think this is our task for our future. We must reclaim the past, because otherwise it too will be taken from us. We want the whole hog, the four freedoms and freedom from want, because otherwise we'll lose the earlier ones. Otherwise we'll have that slavery that Franklin Roosevelt prophesied for us when it became impossible to mention the four freedoms. I think we have a deeper task. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, we have time for a few questions. Before we go to a reception, I hope I'll never forget about 4 years ago when I invited everyone to a reception in the Cloister area that wasn't there. But I am sure that it is there this time, or at least so I hope. Questions for Peter? Isaac?